Oh God, that's so much worse than I thought it was gonna be. That's my mental damage. Hello, my friends. My name is Mindy, and I have lost over 125 pounds on Wegovy, Mounjaro semaglutide compound, and I am now back on Wegovy again. And this week I want to give you a little life update and also talk through the colonoscopy that I had last week. I know it's not a fun subject, but there are definitely some things to know if you're on a GLP in terms of how to approach a colonoscopy. So let's get into it. I just want to start off this video by saying that it has not been a great week. Obviously, colonoscopy contributed to that in some way, but last week I got some news that wasn't the greatest, and I don't really want to air it out for the whole internet. But I'm okay. Like, I'm fine. There hasn't been a death or anything like that. It's just something that's kind of been weighing on me emotionally. And that in combination with everything with the colonoscopy last week, it was just a lot. And I've been struggling the last couple of days emotionally, and kind of trying to work through some of the coping mechanisms that I learned through my time in therapy. And it's been a rough couple of days. Anyway, all that to say, if you are the kind of person that prays, I would appreciate some prayer. Just kind of trying to sort through some things in my head and get to a better place. I did have a little bit of emotional eating this weekend. Nothing anywhere near like what I've done in the past, that, you know, the binging behaviors that got me to 365 pounds. Like, I've learned enough over the last couple of years that I was able to kind of stop myself before I got there, and I was able to kind of talk myself through not making some of the decisions that that little part of my brain was urging me to make. So that was a victory for sure, but trying to work my way through to a better place. Always reluctant to share this kind of stuff with you guys because I want this to be a positive space, but I also want it to be a real space. And it wouldn't be real if I came on here and acted like everything was fine, because it's not. If you are struggling, know that I'm here with you, and we're gonna get through it. All that being said, let's kind of get into what my colonoscopy experience was like last week. The biggest unexpected thing was that, like, I didn't really read through the full colonoscopy prep instructions until the weekend before the procedure, and I didn't realize like how much it was going to affect my diet for all of the days leading up to the procedure. Because I've been on GLP-1s for over 2.5 years, there's a concern when you're on GLP-1s because one of their major functions is to slow gastric emptying. So if you've been on a drug for 2.5 years that slows the emptying of your GI tract, and you're about to have a procedure that requires the emptying of your GI tract, there's always going to be some concern about whether or not that's going to happen. And being part of some support groups, I have read some horror stories about people who went through, followed all of their instructions, all of their GI doctor's instructions, did the prep the way that they were supposed to, went in, got the procedure done, and then discovered that they hadn't cleaned out enough and they had to repeat the procedure. So that was kind of this massive source of anxiety throughout this whole process. And I'd originally planned on skipping 2 shots before I had my colonoscopy. My doctor only told me that I needed to skip 1, but the week before my procedure, after I took my shot, I realized that the date was the following week and not the week after. So like, I thought I had another 2 weeks, and then I realized when I looked at my calendar that I had gotten my date screwed up, and I actually needed to have it again. And I talked about this in last week's video, but that led to me deciding to take some extra magnesium to try and help my body clean itself out, which led to a magnesium overdose and just a whole week of just blah. leading up to the colonoscopy. A couple months ago when I had my consultation with my GI doctor, she told me she wanted me to start taking Miralax the Friday before my procedure every night. So I did that, and it was a full 10 days from the time I had my last shot until the time of my procedure, which was more than enough time. Like it just was less than what I had wanted to do. So there was kind of that nagging part of my brain that was like, well, what if we don't clean out enough? What if? Which is kind of how my anxiety takes shape. I always go to worst case scenario. It's a big part of why I'm such a planner. I did the Miralax starting on the Friday before my procedure. My procedure was on a Thursday, but I hadn't taken any magnesium since that Monday before, when I had the magnesium overdose. Even though the doctors only told me I needed to skip 3 days, I was still paranoid and worried about having that excess magnesium in my system. When I read through the prep instructions over the weekend and read the list of foods that I couldn't eat, like it's basically everything that I eat on a normal basis. No fresh fruits, no fresh vegetables, no seeds, no nuts, no legumes, no, you know what I mean? It's like all they wanted you to eat was lean meats, no beef, and highly processed grains. So like no whole grains, no, you know what I mean? So it's like all the things that I try to eat on a regular basis, like they were like none of that for 3 days before the procedure. So like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I couldn't have any of those foods. On top of that, on Wednesday, the day before my procedure, they wanted me to have a clear liquid diet. So no solid food of any kind except Jello. I guess Jello is not considered a solid food, but I also couldn't have anything with red or purple food coloring. So I could only eat green Jello, you know, the grossest one. And I could only drink water or clear protein drinks, which I didn't have any of. And then Wednesday night, I got off of work at 4:15 and I had to start drinking the prep at 5 o'clock. I wanted to kind of film more of my experience kind of throughout the process, like once I started taking the prep, but honestly, it was kind of a nerve-wracking experience for me. So I did film some for you guys, but I did not film any at the doctor, me waking up from anesthesia. Like I didn't film any of that. I'm sure it would have been very entertaining, but I wasn't with it enough to film myself, and I didn't feel comfortable asking him to film me because I knew he was kind of worried about me. The prep was not pleasant, but the part of the prep that was not pleasant was drinking the prep. I didn't have any issues with the clean out part. The prep itself, though, was absolutely awful. So I will take you back to last Thursday for colonoscopy, Mindy. We'll talk you through what that process was like. This is 1000% for your entertainment. So this is one half of what I'm affectionately calling the devil's juice box. I heard that it's more tolerable when it's cold. So I mixed it up and put it in the fridge last night. It's 5 o'clock. I have my procedure in 14 hours. Bottoms up. Oh, I don't want to. Oh God, that's so much worse than I thought it was going to be. Why is it minty? Why did they only have me put 10 ounces of water in it? Oh, guys. They said they said the prep, which is like 6 ounces, and then they wanted you to fill it up the rest of the way to 16 ounces with water. There should be so much more water in that. I was wondering why they said you needed to finish it in 2 hours. I was like, it's only 16 ounces. It's 2 cups. I can down that in like 3 seconds. No, I can't. I'll see you guys later. Hey guys. So it's currently 1:30 in the morning and I just drank my second round of prep. I feel like all my fears are being realized because I'm still
in the thick of it. Like, so the first round of prep, it took a while to get started, and then it was done in 3 hours, which is totally contrary to everything I've heard from everybody about how these prep meds are supposed to work. Like, I've heard you're supposed to be going nonstop for like 12 hours. So I tried to take a little nap since I seemed to be done going until I had to wake up and start the second round of prep. And I mean, TMI, but like the color of your stool needs to be at a certain place before they can actually do the procedure. And right now I am so far from that, like it's not even funny. And I feel like all of my fears are being realized. It's too soon to say that. Like, I've still got another 4.5 hours until we start the prep for my surgery, like the prep. So I have to be there at the surgery center at 6 a.m. and the procedure is supposed to start at 7. So like basically I have until 6 to make sure that like I'm cleaned out enough. But like, I don't know what to do. Like, if I don't think I could do this again. Like, that prep is so vile and awful. I have had to drink some disgusting things in my lifetime, but never anything like that. Like, it literally tastes like metal and like salty metal. I don't even know how to, like, from the way everyone else described the prep, I thought it was just gonna taste like overly sweet cough syrup. I don't even know how to describe to you what the flavor of that is. So if I have to repeat this procedure, I will be talking to my GI doctor about going the Gatorade Miralax route, because I almost threw up about 5 or 6 times drinking this second round. Thankfully, I was able to keep it all down, but anyway, I just wanted to check in with you guys and let you know where I'm at. This is not fun. I feel gross right now. I'll see you guys in the morning. Well, good morning. It's now Friday. I had every intention of filming some yesterday to try and give you guys some idea of what the day was like, but I got 0 sleep on Wednesday night. I think I maybe managed to squeak out an hour to an hour and 15 minutes of sleep according to my Fitbit. And yeah, yesterday was not a great day. Richard and I had to leave the house before 5:30 to get to the place for me to have my procedure. And it was a very nice facility. I will say, like, the comparison between Richard's experience years ago, the place we took him, and my experience on Thursday was like night and day. We had a private room that like had a door for me to get dressed in. They let him come back with me, and because we had our own private room, he was able to wait in the room for me while I had the procedure done. I was really loopy from not sleeping all night, and so like before they even gave me the meds and everything, like I was already weird, which is just me. I mean, I'm weird on a normal day. You give me a day without any sleep and it's just going to be even worse. I normally have a really hard time getting IVs. My veins are not the greatest, and thankfully I had a really great nurse and she got it on the first try. We didn't have to go through my hand, which we normally do. I have minimal bruising today, which is a testament to how great she was. Normally when I get an IV, I have bruising like this around the IV site, and today it hardly even hurts at all. Yesterday it was pretty sore, but they gave me, fluids, IV fluids and everything before the procedure, and then the anesthesiologist came in and talked to me. It was really interesting. Every single person in that facility that I dealt with was a woman. So my doctor, all of my and when I say all of my nurses, I think I had like 5 different nurses helping me with different things. And it was just overall a very good, I mean, as good of an experience as a colonoscopy can be, right? They had me change, which they heated my gown and blanket. Like, I mean, we're talking, it felt like I was at like the luxury spa of GI doctor treatment places. And I mean, thankfully it was a preventative service. So, I mean, my insurance takes care of it completely. But if they had found any polyps or cancerous things that they needed to take biopsies of, it would have gone from $0 to over $600. So thankfully, spoiler alert, I did not have any polyps or anything. I don't have to do this again for 10 more years, and that's honestly too soon. If I ever have to do this again, and if you have to have your colonoscopy, I highly recommend asking your doctor if you can use the Miralax method for your prep instead of the sodium, whatever the crap it's called. That stuff was awful. Like, I can't even describe to you how horrible that stuff was to drink. It was like drinking metal that had a faint minty, lemony aftertaste with 50 gallons of sugar in it. It was awful. Like, drinking the prep was way worse than having to deal with the clean out process. Part of the reason why I was so freaked out, even up to like that, when I checked in with you guys at 1 a.m, was because like your clean out has to be a specific color in order for them to do the procedure. And at that point in time, like, my movements were still very dark, and I was expecting them to be a lot further along at that point, because the prep was really only doing its thing for a couple of hours. I thought, and my husband told me, and everyone else told me, that once you took that prep, like, you were going to be married to a toilet for like 12 hours. And that was not the case with me. Like, it was intense for about an hour or so. And then by the end of the second hour, like, I was hardly going at all. Thankfully, by like my last 2 BMs, like, it was clear, like mostly clear, like it was supposed to be. So I did make it through. They were fine with how everything went. I was cleaned out enough. So, I mean, it was all the worry for nothing, which I knew it would be, but that's just kind of how I get, like, that's how my anxiety works. It's the fear of the unknown. So next time, because I've already been through it, it'll be fine. But it just really worried me. Everyone tried to tell me how light I would feel afterwards. I did not feel light afterwards. I felt crampy and bloaty and gassy. And that was pretty much the rest of my day yesterday. I don't do well with anesthesia. Like, my body, I'm very, very sensitive to drugs and medications in general. So, like, I was a groggy mess yesterday. And that's why I didn't film, because I didn't think I'd be able to put coherent sentences together to talk to you guys. And honestly, I just didn't remember until the end of the night that was something that I was going to do, because my brain was not there. I'm glad I got it done. I'm glad I know that my colon is healthy, I guess. It's good to have that peace of mind that I'm not like totally clogged up like people have been hospitalized for on these medications after having been on them for over 2.5 years. It's nice to know that I'm still good in that area, which tells me that obviously the probiotics and the magnesium glycinate that I've been taking as preventatives have been doing their job, and I will continue to take them. I'm just glad to get back into some semblance of routine again. Next week is my 2nd week on maintenance, and I'm gonna work on a meal plan over the next couple of days, because this week there was no meal plan. I couldn't really eat normal food. Very much looking forward to that. I am a person that enjoys routine. I enjoy having a schedule. I enjoy knowing what's happening. Like, that is comforting to me. That's my mental damage. I definitely had some other things happen this week. On Wednesday specifically, I got a call from my sister with some updates about my mom. My husband and I are going to be making last minute trip to California. She's doing fine, and so we want to go and spend some time with her. Her birthday is coming up soon, and my husband's birthday is coming up soon, and he hasn't been to California for a couple of years, and when he has come to California with me, it's been for an event and only for a couple of days. So he's going to come with me for a whole week, and it's going to be soon. So we're now kind of in the midst of preparing for that. It's been quite a week. Thank you guys for all of your prayers and your encouragement over this last week as I've been going through this process. I probably wouldn't have gotten through it anywhere near as well as I did without the encouragement. Anyway, I know this has been kind of a weird video. There's a lot of people that don't know about the impacts that GLPs can have on a colonoscopy, and I wanted you to be aware. So thanks so much for being here. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without what's been